By this time, we've told our guests to sit down and relax, and we're ready to go, and we're going to have a marvelous time serving bouillabaisse. And I'll show you in a few minutes how it should be served properly. But right now, a classic dish made of raw fish, and it's called a ceviche. It's from Mexico, and it's just glorious. Let me find some. Remember the red snapper that Joe showed us? Joe is at Randolph Fish Company, by the way, a marvelous place. Here's the snapper, and what I'm going to do is to cut the snapper into very thin slices. You see, beautifully fresh fish, very thin slices, and about 1.5 pounds will go in. That's just not a sharp enough knife. I'm tearing the fish. Did you see that? You don't want to do that. Here we are. That's better. Keep your knives sharp. Keep them very sharp. There we are. That should go. We want about 1.5 pounds of fish, you see. And into our bowl, then, we're going to add an entire cup, 1.5 pounds of fish, pound of fish, of good fresh flounder, snapper, even cod will work, but this is red snapper. You're going to add an entire cup of fresh, squeezed lime juice, and that's what's going to cook the fish. It isn't going to be cooked with heat, but with acid. Isn't that a strange thing to do? But chemically, that's what we're doing. And remember, it takes it takes a while to get a cup of lime juice out of one of these little stinky critters. But if you have a reamer, if you can find yourself a lemon reamer like this, it doesn't take very long. And you just squeeze and push, and the juice just flows. This is a marvelous device, and fresh lime juice is great. Frozen will not do, bottled will not do, forget about it. The flavor is going to be very different. Now let that sit for about 1.5 hours. Got that? At the end of the 1.5 hours, we want to prepare some vegetables to put into our large bowl of ceviche. And we'll need a red pepper, that's a beauty, and perhaps a green pepper. And let's add, it is 1 ripe tomato, let's try that. And how about some green onions? I'd like a couple of green onions too. There. Now I'll chop all of this up, slice it up thin. Let me show you how to do a pepper quickly here, because this red pepper is so beautiful. See if we can find room. I love a messy kitchen because it means there's something coming on the table soon. Cut the pepper in half, and then simply pop out the core very, very quickly so you don't have to fool. Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's having children. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't nature a wonderful thing? It has no secrets. You and I are the only weird ones. Look at this. You see? The little seeds inside that have already developed into other peppers. That's the strangest pepper I've ever seen. And we'll cut the pepper then into strips. And do the same with our green pepper, and cube up our tomato. Now remember, when you cube a tomato, if your knife is sharp, there will be no juice on the board. Do you understand me? There will be no juice on the board, so let's try it. See, I'm using my knife properly in that I'm going back and forth. I'm not pushing. I should have cored the tomato, shouldn't I, huh? Guess that would be proper. There we are. Now, go back and forth. You see, cube your tomato thusly. Don't push on it. And then back and forth again. You see how I saw the tomato up? And there'll be very little juice in your board, if any at all. That's fine. Okay, a tomato, a green pepper, a red pepper, some green onions. Blend all of this in with your salad. And let me get a dressing now for you. Let's get a big bowl here. And we need to make a salad dressing. But in any case, you can see what we can begin with. We have the tomato and the pepper. We'll add the green pepper and the rest of the tomato and the rest of the red pepper later on. I want you to get an idea of how the dish will look. But right now, let's make our salad dressing for ceviche. Ceviche. The salad dressing consists of 1/2 cup of olive oil. There it is. 2 cloves of garlic, smashed up. And I'm using my little favorite garlic presser here. Garlic masher. Oops, come out of there. Don't lose a clove of garlic. Good heavens. Go seek and find the lost pearl. It was really garlic. It wasn't the pearl. Who cares about pearls? But garlic is worth searching for. Don't use dried garlic, instant garlic, garlic salt. Those things are all vainly invented. They're out to get us, people who put those things in the market. Don't use them. Teaspoon of oregano. If I confuse you with recipes, write us and we'll send you those straight skinny. But this should make sense to you. 1/2 cup of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, teaspoon of oregano. We want 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. Classic French seasonings, really, but this is Mexican. The French love this dish, however. A lot of people eat glorious raw fish salads and raw fish. The Japanese, the Mexicans, the Chinese make a marvelous raw fish salad. And, of course, the Scandinavians eat herring and raw salmon and lovely things. That was a bit of coriander, powdered coriander, and that takes care of our dish other than some chili paste. And there are several possibilities. You can either use Tabasco, which would work fine, or I'm using a Chinese chili paste. This recipe is from a dear friend of mine by the name of Dr. William Campbell. He's a mad scientist. He climbs underneath glaciers and swims about, and then when he gets out from underneath the ice, he sits down and he cooks things like ceviche. And he likes this chili paste, China chili and garlic paste, delicious stuff, and you can blend it into your salad so that the salad should have some oomph, should have some serious jump to it. Now let's stir that up, and then I want to show you what happens when we blend all of this together with the fish. You got the dressing now? Half a cup of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of ground coriander, a dash of Tabasco or red chili sauce, and then we're going to add pepper, and cracked pepper here, to our fish. So let's put this all together now. Here's our fish. Put in a good deal of cracked pepper. Shot pepper. I was going to say a shot of cracked pepper. Okay, there's a shot. And our dressing. I'm going to use my fingers here. And finally, what I'm doing is trying to mix this very carefully so that I don't rip up the fish, you see. And then I'll put this all into our vegetables. Remember, green onions, green pepper, a red pepper if you can find one. Now, you can't always do that every part of the year. Toss the whole works together with the dressing, and for heaven's sakes, leave the lime juice in there. That's what makes it delicious. There's one green onion on the loose. All right, let me get one out of the refrigerator. Then marinate this for you marinate it for an hour and a half in just lemon juice. Remember? Then marinate it after you put in the vegetables and the dressing with the lime juice. Don't take the lime juice out. Marinate it again for another hour, cold, chilled, and look what you come up with. A simply glorious salad. Mine's in the refrigerator, and I'll get it out for you now. Keep towels all over the place, or you'll slip and kill yourself on olive oil and peanut oil. What a good way to go. Oh, this is gorgeous stuff. Just terrific. You see? See what I have? There. And I'll very gently place this in the salad bowl just before my guests arrive, because I want it cold, very cold indeed. Here we are. And on top of that, I'd like to put a garnish of perhaps avocado, though that just adds a little, flounce and hoi polloi. You don't have to do that, of course. But it certainly looks nice, doesn't it? Maybe you want to put a lemon wedge on that. It's just delicious. It's just amazing. And people will say to you, raw fish salad? What are you doing? But they'll take one taste, and that's it. You've won them. You've won them. Let me set this aside here for you. Good Lord, we're not going to have enough room. Harold, you're going to have to move over. Poor fellow. He just comes by for a party, and he winds up in the pot. I've done that in kitchens. I walk over and say hello, and I wind up helping everybody cook. Let's see how we're doing here. The bouillabaisse is done. You see, it's come to a simmer. Everything is finished. Oh, it's colossal. It's colossal. How would I serve a bouillabaisse? I'll show you how I would serve a bouillabaisse. Let me get a big dipper here. I need to remind you that toast is the classic filler in France. So you might want to put a bit of toast in your bowl first for a classic bouillabaisse. Let me get a plate here so you can see this. This is how I would want it to look at my table. You put a bit of toast in first, you see, in your bowl. Now I'm going to fill this with an assortment of clams and fish, crab. Oh, anything goes. Here's a clam that's waiting for Gardot. Huh? Look at this. And oh, what else we've got in here? Well, here's a bit of buffalo fish. There you are. The point is, when you bring this to the table, look at that. And I need a pinch of parsley. There. The toast is in the bottom, you see. I think that's one of the best parts. There. I'll set this out on the table for you now, and you can enjoy this. No, I would not serve ceviche and raw fish salad all at once. That's not the point. I would serve these separately. A plain green salad would go best with the bouillabaisse, and certainly a lovely glass of white wine. The ceviche is a meal in itself, and you can have a glass of Chablis with this, and perhaps a little green salad too, because it's very, very. And you can enjoy this. No, I would not serve ceviche and raw fish salad all at once. That's not the point. I would serve these separately. A plain green salad would go best with the bouillabaisse, and certainly a lovely glass of white wine. The ceviche is a meal in itself, And you can have a glass of Chablis with this, and perhaps a little green salad too, because it's very, very rich. Let me show you one other thing that you can do with this beautiful stock that we have. I'm going to, oh, you didn't get any shrimp. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here he is. There we go. Now you're set. I want to show you about when you have the leftover stock, this is really the best thing ever. I would do this in a saucepan and warm it just gently. But look what I'm going to do. Put a bit of the stock in the bowl. And I'm going to add some cream to this. Whipping cream. Whipping cream? Come on, Frugal Gourmet. Well, now and then you have to blow the old butterfat count and serve this. Oh, I want to stop right now and taste. Serve this with a bit of parsley on top. Look at the oil. That's not from butter. That's olive oil and the oil from the fish. Isn't it beautiful? Nothing goes in this now except a bit of parsley. And if you're really into it, you can put a bit of shrimp toast in the center and serve a bisque from France. You see? Beautiful. All right, let's figure out the spot here. Have you got that? Now, I want to talk with you about one other thing you can do in your kitchen, and that's to poach fish. It's easy to do, but you really need a fish poacher, and it's so flamboyant. The costs are really very high. But on the other hand, if you want to cook properly, why, it's worth your time to invest in these things. This great big one here is, can you see this? I'll get the bread out of the way. This great big one is brought in by, from Europe. It's made of stainless steel. It's brought in by the Rouille company. It cost about $70, so I said it, $70. Isn't that awful? But look what you can do. Here's a salmon. Come on, baby. Just come right out of there. Here's a salmon that I poached. Can you tell there's only half of the salmon there? I'll show you a sneaky thing that I've done. You see, whoops, I've lost him. Well, anyhow, he's back in the pan now. But let me show you what I did with him. Because I poached the whole fish. And it takes just a few minutes. I've given you the recipe for poaching. A normal broth, tiny bit of vinegar and lemon juice to hold him. And then I took half the salmon off the bone, and I'm going to chop this up for a salad. And you see how moist this fish is? Oh, it's simply heaven. You know where salmon comes from? My front yard, that's where. It belongs in Seattle. We have the best salmon ever, and most of this salmon that you find in the rest of the country comes from my neighborhood. And we eat salmon night and day. Anything but canned salmon. That you shouldn't bother with. But this would make a great salad, or you can mix it with cream cheese and make a marvelous dressing for crackers, that sort of thing. Poached fish is very, very moist, and once you get by the investment in a poacher, you're set. You can buy poachers in aluminum, but I feel more secure with stainless steel. But it is costly. In any case, today we've celebrated fish with a flair. I've made a ceviche for you from Mexico, raw fish salad, a bouillabaisse from France, a French bisque with a bit of whipping cream in the bouillabaisse stock, and finally a little poached fish that's terribly versatile. You can do anything you like with it, and you'll have a good time enjoying fish. Remember, the clue for buying fresh fish is simple. It must smell fresh. The eye must glisten. It must be bright eye. You see old George here, he looks gorgeous. Finally, you see him how lovely his eye is? He looks grand. So does Harold. Finally, when you look under the gill, it's a bright red. It's not a dark brown. And inside the body is firm and nice. Then you'll feel secure. That's what we have for you today. Fish, and I want you to buy it and enjoy it constantly. Until we're together again then, this is the hungry Frugal Gourmet. I bid you peace. Bye-bye.